All right, we're back here with section 9.4, operations of functions. So as we take two functions, we can do different things. We can add them, subtract them, multiply, or divide. Now, again, if we just do addition, it's just like we've done before, add the like terms. Well, nothing to add to the 4x squared, but 3x plus 6x is 9x, and negative 1 plus 2 is plus 1. Pretty easy. Now, what happens if we subtract them? Well, again, nothing to subtract from the 4x squared, but if we go 3x minus 6x, that's negative 3x, and then negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. So be a little careful with that subtraction. Those can get kind of tricky. Now, multiplication, typically what you're going to be doing is just distributing. We've seen those many times before. Remember, with division, let's say we had a couple of functions that look like this. Always look to factor. You might be able to factor these and chunga and simplify. So think about that when you do division. All right, and then the last thing in this section we're going to talk about is what's called compositions of functions. It's when we're taking two functions and kind of putting them together, and there's different ways of writing that. This doesn't mean times. This means the composition of f and g, and more often you'll see it written like this. It's read as f of g of x. And what you're going to do is you're going to start and work your way inside out, and I'll show you what kind of that is all about. It's kind of like this. You start with the number, and if you're going to find g of 1, you're going to put that in the g function first. Well, let's say that turns into a 4. Well, then whatever that is, you put into the f function, and then you get that out. Now, again, you always work your way inside out is what you do there. All right? So let's see what we got here. All right, so here we have two functions, f and g. So we want to find f of g of 4. What that means is we're going to put the 4 in the g function first. So 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay, and then you take that and you put that in the f function. 2 to the third power is 8. Always work inside out. Inside out is what we're doing. So now what happens if we went g of f of 4? Well, now we put the 4 into the f function first. Well, 2 to the fourth power is 16. So now put 16 into the g function. Well, 7 minus 16 is negative 9. Okay, that's not so bad once you kind of get the hang of it. All right, f of g of 3. So put the 3 into the g function first. 3 squared is 9. All right, and then put 9 into the f function. Well, 18 minus 3 is 15. So it works out pretty good. Now, sometimes we're just going to combine those functions. There's no numbers to put in, but we're going to combine them into one super function is what we're doing. So in this case, if we do f of g of x, we're going to take the g function, see how I have that circled? We're going to put that wherever we see an x here. So that's going to turn into 3 times. Now, in place of x, we're going to put square root of x plus 2, and then we still have the minus 4. Now, how would that be different if we did g of f of x? Well, in this case, we'd put the f function into the g function wherever you see an x. So in this case, we'd have the square root of, in place of x, we'd go 3x minus 4 plus 2. Okay, so we're working with operations of functions as well as compositions of functions. Have a good time with that. Any questions, email me. And for next time, I'm Mr. Boone.